My life from birth to now has been pretty interesting. Who would have thought it'd ever be like this? But oh well, I'm finna take y'all on a journey. We finna go over everything. How I went from just ripping and running, doing me, to being a black dad, having two kids, having my beautiful woman, and trying to make ends meet and provide for my family. I was born April 17th, 1991, in Inglewood, California. At the time, my mom and dad was married, and I had an older brother. Me and my older brother got the same mom and different daddies. Um, what can I say about my early life? My early life was different. It wasn't typical. It wasn't your all-American mom, dad, two kids, dog in a front yard, in a house with a white picket fence. It wasn't that. Coming up in South Central LA County, things is a little bit different than anywhere else. For me, that meant my mom and dad was split up, I think divorced, and my dad was in jail by the time I was 5 years old. So my formative years was crazy, but it shaped, I guess, the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? You look at some of these pictures and everybody look happy. We don't know what's coming next in some of these pictures. And when it come to me, I definitely may or may not know what's coming next in some of these pictures, especially the ones in my formative years when I was young. You know what I'm saying? Elementary school, I was always told that I was smart, which I am a very smart person. I occasionally enjoy listening to Beethoven and Mozart. I have an affinity for reading, what's going on, the news, current events in my spare time. When I'm sitting somewhere and it's quiet. You know what I'm saying? I occasionally pick up my phone and read ebooks. I read regular books. You know what I'm saying? I read books to my kids now. But the man I am now, being a father of two, having a beautiful significant other, just recently got my CDL Class A to drive big rigs, and starting out on a path that's going to change the trajectory of my family's life. I didn't always have a family. I didn't always have a beautiful woman by my side or two kids that I was raising. You know what I'm saying? When my parents split up, I lived with my grandmother on my dad's side, as well as my dad, my two aunts. And I was pretty sheltered. When I got to move and live with my mama, I was exposed to a lot more. And the things I was exposed to, good, bad, or indifferent, they made me who I am. At a certain point, I became a teenager and started feeling myself and smelling myself, and I ain't always make the right decisions, especially for being somebody that was born with sickle cell anemia. I may or may not have always made the right decisions, and I may or may not, to this day, always make the right decisions for somebody with sickle cell anemia. But I've been blessed. I ain't spent my whole life in no hospital. My ears is pierced. I have tattoos. I've smoked at different times throughout my life. I've drank at different times throughout my life. I still drink, periodically here and there. I used to rip and run the streets and hang out with some of the wrong crowd and do self-destructive shit. But I've also done music. I've written poetry. At one point, I was going to go to college and try to be normal or be regular, but I've never had aspirations to live a regular life. So for me, school was something that I just did it so that I could get through it. I wasn't really trying to go through elementary, junior high, high school, and then go to college. I didn't have just one thing I was interested in. You know what I'm saying? Even with my real interests, I was interested in different things. I wanted to play football. Couldn't do that because I was born with sickle cell anemia, and my sickle cell affected my playing ability. But music was always my first love. You know what I'm saying? No matter what car I owned, no matter which one of my friends I was riding with, music was always my first love. So I did shows, I recorded music. I've had multiple offers throughout different periods of my life to be signed to different record labels. Um, I've always been a loyal person to my friends and my family, and if you need me, I got you. That was something I learned early on, like from my grandmother, who, ironically, my grandmother on my mom's side, which was not the grandmother that I lived with when my parents split up. When my parents split up, I lived with my grandmother on my dad's side. But my grandmother on my mom's side was the person that showed me love and loyalty and how you honor the people that you love and care for. And she showed me, you know what I'm saying, humility and things of that nature, which is what I tried to impart on my little homies and get them wisdom and get them the game. Because I could always tell you what not to do based off what I did wrong or where I feel like I did something wrong in my life versus trying to tell you what to do. Well, like I said, I had multiple record deal offers. I've opened up for different big names, like Badass from the Dog Pound. You know, rest in peace, Badass. West Coast rap legend. Roscoe from the Dog Pound, another West Coast rap legend. You know, his older brother is Corrupt. And obviously, when you say the Dog Pound, you talking about Snoop Dogg label, which, you know, just being able to open up for somebody that was even affiliated with Snoop Doggy Dogg mean a lot to me because, like I said, music been a big part of my life, my whole life, and my favorite rappers is Tupac and Snoop Dogg. Like, to me, it don't get no better than that. You know what I'm saying? And for every show I ever performed at, for every show I ever went to, you know what I'm saying, for every celebrity, big or small, that I ever interacted with, that was always my thing that motivated me and let me know that if I could get around certain people, then I probably deserve to be around certain people and deserve to be in certain environments. You know what I'm saying? I had my own home studio. I recorded countless mixtapes. Ironically, my favorite mixtape I ever did was called Cuffing Season, which ironically, I did Cuffing Season before I ended up meeting my children's mom, which is crazy, cause I really did end up getting cuffed. But my children's mom, she is different. I knew she was special from the first time we kicked it. Um, she provided contrast to my life that I needed. You know what I'm saying? After the death of my grandmother, like it was a void there. You know what I'm saying? My mom, when she was raising me, my brother, and my older sister, which my older sister is adopted. My mom, when she was raising us, she made sure that we knew what we was going to face as young black people in America in the different situations that we could be put in. My mom made sure that we can handle anything that we would go up against. My mom made sure that, you know, we knew how to conduct ourselves in different settings. You know, this was stuff that was added to what my grandmother and my aunts gave me on my dad's side when I lived with them throughout my formative years. But my grandmother on my mom's side and my auntie Babe, they was like the balance. They was the love that I needed. And that's the love that I give to my kids, to my nieces and my nephews. You know what I'm saying? Uncle Kenny gonna always be there, you know, for my nieces and my nephews. Dad gonna always be there for my son and my daughter. You know, I'm gonna always be there for my woman to try to uplift her the same way she uplift me. Like, I seen a lot in my early years. You know what I'm saying? Without naming no names and telling no stories, because no face, no case. I was really exposed to a lot. You know, it's people that know the different stories that I'm alluding to, but, you know, we'll speak on that at a different place and a different time. Just for what it's worth, I just have to say thank you to everybody that had a hand in me becoming the man that I am today, because no matter what I went through from birth up until 18, or from birth up until my early 20s, I made I made a conscious decision at about 24, 25 that I was going to change my life and be less self-destructive, and I was going to do things that would put me in a position to be the type of man that would be worth being somebody's husband, be the type of man that would be worth being somebody's father. You know what I'm saying? My dad being in jail for a large part of my life, that motivated me to make sure that I make different decisions with my kids and my woman. You know what I'm saying? That motivated me to legit make sure that I stayed out of the legal system, because it's easy to get into trouble. It's hard to get out of trouble. And a hard head make a soft ass. So if you don't learn from the mistakes of others before unintentionally and unnecessarily making a mistake yourself, then you kind of stupid, if we being honest. It ain't no other way to put it. So I've always tried to stay somewhat head up once I actually was smart enough to pick my head up. And now, as a father, and one day me and my girl will get married and I'll be a husband, but as the leader of my house and the man of my house, I got to make sure that I can live with whatever choices I make. I got to make sure that when my kids get old enough to ask their daddy questions, I can stand on 10 toes and look my son or look my daughter in the eye, and I can answer whatever question they got for me, even if it's uncomfortable. Because I tell you right now, I done did some shit I ain't proud of. I done told some lies when I felt I had to. I done told some lies when the shit was unnecessary. But I always tried to keep a level of honor to myself, even when I was fucking up, and even when I was doing shit that was self-destructive, or when I was telling lies and doing shit that I myself wasn't even proud of. Like, keeping it G, coming from not always feeling loved, coming from being a bully, coming from having been bullied, coming from not always feeling special. It's a beautiful thing when you finally realize, wait a minute, people actually care about the things I say. People care about the things I do. The things I say and do affect people in a negative and a positive way. It's consequences and repercussions for what I do and for what I say. So I gotta watch how I move, because I don't just represent myself. I represent my family. You know what I'm saying? Now at this point in time in my life, I represent my woman. I represent my kids. Like, I'm not just single no more. I'm not a teenager ripping and running the streets with the wrong crowd and getting jammed up by police because you fit the description. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a teenager ripping and running the streets with the wrong crowd and you basically the plug, and if somebody needs something, you could get it for them. Or, you know what I'm saying, you might got it yourself. It is what it is. Like, it's certain stories I could tell. It's certain stories I never speak on. But, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, all of the stories of my life, the ones you believe, the ones you don't believe, the ones that wouldn't even fit my character, depending on where you know me from, these are the things that now I just sit back and laugh, because I feel like an old man now. You know what I'm saying? I got my woman, I got my handsome son, I got my beautiful daughter, and living life at this stage is great. Like, even when I have to go to work and I'd rather be at home, I know why. Even when I gotta
Gotta
take a
show them
trip
young.
for work and I'd rather be at home, I know why. But I'm raising a king and I'm raising a queen. So I'm going to show my son how to be honorable and chivalrous. I'm going to show my daughter how to be a respectable lady. I'm going to treat their mama right in the process. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that no matter what, my kids know that their daddy got his flaws and he ain't perfect. But You know what I'm saying? Their daddy always there for them. Being a black dad is being able to say, I fucked up. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I love you. No, you can't do that. Yes, you can do that. I will always help you through everything. But I'm still your daddy. Being a black dad means it's tough love, it's understanding. I'm gonna be your friend. I'm gonna be your mentor. I'm gonna be your confidant. I'm gonna be any and everything you need me to be. But I'm still your daddy. I get to watch my son and my daughter grow up with an innocence that I lost early. And I ain't saying on no funny shit like ain't nobody touch me or none of no shit like that. Which, that's a different story for a different day because I got some friends that been through a lot. But when I say innocence that I lost early, you lose your innocence when your parents split up when you're young. You lose your innocence when one of your parents go to jail. You lose your innocence when you gotta find out certain things from certain people about your mommy and your daddy. You lose your innocence when, for lack of a better way to put it, you just go through certain shit before you supposed to have to go through certain shit. It's a lot of ways I lost my innocence when I was young, and it was heartbreaking as fuck. And shit, I got my childhood cut short. But it was a lot of ways that, I lost my innocence as a child, and it made me smarter. It made me wiser. It made me a better person. So I'm grateful for both because I am who I am. But now I got my kids and I protect their innocence because when you got kids, it's only so long that your kids gonna think you cool or that your kids gonna want to be around you. Your kids gonna want to, do something with mom or do something with dad. Because eventually they become teenagers, they become young adults, they become adults, and they have families and children of their own. But while they yours, while they in your house, you got to cherish every moment with them. You know what I'm saying? You got to tell them you love them. You got to hug them and kiss them, even if they don't like it. My son, 8, 9, 10 years old, he about to be a teenager soon. It's right around the corner. I know that. I tell him all the time I love him, even if he don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? I do things like put him on my lap and teach him how to drive. And, you know what I'm saying? We keep it moving. We have fun. We gonna have fun. We gonna do what we need to do. We gonna do what we want to do. And we gonna live this life with my son and my daughter and my woman. Dear Heavenly Father, I come to you thanking you for this life I live, my woman and my kids. Amen.
1, 2, 3, 4.